Welcome to the Governor's House. I'm Larry Sharpe. Today, if you looking at what we're doing today and you're saying, wait a minute, I noticed this Larry Sharpe guy, he's on like every Wednesday night at 9. You're right, it's me again. I am here one more time. If you want to join the program, it's 877-480-4120 to ask me a question, talk to me, say hi. I'm here for you. I grabbed this idea from one of the mayors of New York City who used to do this every Thursday around 10 o'clock or so, I believe, in the morning. I'm now doing it Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. So jump on, say hi, tell me what you think. You can get mad at me if you want also. Some people do sometimes. Happy to hear it. Today I'm talking about small business. Now, as you probably know, I'm a small business owner, and I have been more than once. I remember how difficult it was. And when I often coach people who are building small businesses, very often they ask me important questions like, Larry, should I get an employee? Larry, should I hire someone? Larry, should I do X, Y, and Z? And here's the issue. Of course you want to grow your business. Absolutely, everybody does. Of course you want to take the time to hire people. Everybody wants to be that guy who can give someone an opportunity. The problem you will find often is the second you hire people, all of a sudden, the government begins to punish you. You might say, wait a minute, Larry, what are you talking about? The government's going to punish you? Yes, it does. And for those of you, particularly in New York State, the second you hire someone, in fact, the second you open up your business, the first thing you get from the government is not, welcome, thank you, awesome, amazing. No, the first thing you get is a bill for workers' comp. That's the first thing you get. They assume you're somehow cheating them. They assume that you're a bad guy, and they give you a nice fat bill for workers' comp off the bat. Now, some of you may not know this. If you are your own business and it's only you, you do not have to pay workers' comp if it's only you. Not required. Government doesn't care. They send you a note anyway. And if you don't have an accountant to tell you calm down, you start getting scared real fast. Real fast you get scared. But I go one step further. Most people who are small business owners, when they begin to grow their business, they very often grab someone who's part-time or a consultant or someone like that to begin to grow their business. Very common. Let me test someone out, things of that sort. Well, New York State and others, but heavily New York State, will decide randomly that, you know what? This person who is a consultant, no, we're going to make them an employee. We're going to decide that because they work for you for a certain amount of time, that now they are an employee. And then boom, here comes the penalties and the punishment and all these things that come throwing at you. They come right at you immediately. It makes being a small business owner not just difficult, but also scary. And people who are afraid make bad decisions. The government isn't there to help you out. It's there to punish you. It's there to make you afraid. That's not the right answer. The government should be happy that you are creating jobs. The government should be happy that you're growing a business. The government should be happy that you're not on the dole. The government should be happy that you're creating work for other people. But it isn't. It decides it wants to punish you. And this is the wrong answer. Not just that. It assumes that you are wrong. I don't know how many times that I've gone to my accountant and said, oh my God, am I in trouble? He goes, no, Larry, it's just state government attacking you as always. I'll take care of it. You have to have someone to do this. So what has been the answer? Sadly, for many of us, the answer has been franchises. Franchises have replaced, in many cases, the small business owner. Why? Because what a franchise basically does is it takes all the red tape and puts it all together in one big box, right? So now McDonald's or Subway or insert thing here, they cover all the red tape. You're basically outsourcing your red tape. So now, thanks to the government, most people who wouldn't want a franchise, don't get me wrong, franchises are wonderful. And for some people, they're totally the answer. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy for people who own franchises. It's a great way for you to start your small business. Absolutely love that idea. The issue is so many people get forced into being a franchise because there's no other option. But here's the worst part. Now, if I'm a landlord in New York State, I know something. And you found this happened first in malls. Those of you noticed this. First in malls. If I'm a landlord, I would rather rent to a franchise because I know the odds of them getting crushed by red tape are less than a non-franchise. So what happens if I'm a small business owner? If I'm a small business owner, I'm not a franchise owner, they're going to actually charge me more rent up front. They may even raise my rent. I may even have more of a security because they don't believe that I have the same odds of survival. And they're right. That's the sad part. And they're right. Franchises have exploded not because they're that amazing. Again, they're good answers for many people, but they've exploded more because of government regulation, which the individual simply can't handle it. And franchises are huge. They have large legal departments, large accounting departments. They can handle all that stuff for you. They got it down. They cover regulation for you. They lobby for you. They fight the government for you. So, of course, what happens? Franchises begin to grow. Landlords aren't dumb. They know the odds of a franchise surviving is higher than someone who's not a franchise, so they want to rent to franchises. If you noticed, about 10, 15 years ago, the malls got filled with only franchises because the malls knew the odds of a franchise surviving were higher. They only rented out to franchises. Now the malls are struggling. They'll rent to anybody. Now I can go there and get like 10 stores. It doesn't really matter now anymore because they're struggling. But back in the day, that's what they would do. So again, you wind up finding that the government decides with their rules to help, that's their goal. Yet again, it becomes crony capitalism. Yet again, it becomes helping big business and not small business. Yet again, the large corporations begin to win when it's supposed to help the little guy. It doesn't. It helps the big guy. It helps the corporations. So that's my take on small business. Less regulation actually makes small business more successful. All right, I have a phone call. I'm going to grab Tommy. Tommy, how are you, sir?
Hey, Larry, I'm doing great, man.
You call like every week.
Dude, I tell you what, I am fully supporting you.
I love it.
You know, you are an inspiration to anybody that is running for political office in the Libertarian Party, and my hat's off to you, brother.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. Thank you.
My question tonight is, Larry, you know, I know here in Washington County, Indiana, it's been kind of in the mainstream of talk about school security.
Sure.
And, you know, I sat here and I keep thinking about this, and we have the solution readily available to us. It's just nobody has thought of it, and I wanted your take on it.
What's the solution?
We have a lot of retired military personnel in this country who I know sitting here right now, all we would have to do is ask them, hey, would you care to volunteer? Notice I said volunteer. I didn't say hire them and pay them and raise taxes. I said volunteer to come to the school for X amount of time during the day and make sure our kids are safe and that we do not have a problem. Now, Larry, I understand this is not a gun issue. This is a heart issue.
Hold on. Let me Timothy, let me take this.
Being misunderstood.
Timmy, let me take this.
Wanted. But at the same time,
Timmy, let me take this. Okay. Timmy, I got to take this. I love you, Tim, but I got to take this. Let me give you a couple things. The first thing is, I think you're right. We don't want to turn our schools into prisons. That's the number one thing. I do not want to turn my schools into prisons. And that's what people are trying to do. The next thing is, I don't want to have necessarily a guard at every school. Here's the problem. If I know there's a guard in every school, then what is the shooter going to do? He's going to shoot the guard, right? So that's a bad thing. That's common sense, right? But just on top of that, we had a guard at Parkview? Was that Parkland? Sorry. We had a guard at Parkland, and he did nothing. He literally did nothing. So the guard at the school is nice, but here's what I'd rather have. I like your idea. I think it's great. Ask for volunteers, but not to stay, to patrol. I would rather it be random. I would rather it not be true. Now, why do I say that? All right. In my own world, some of you know that I actually used to be in the military, in the Marine Corps. I'm a veteran. Used to be in the Marine Corps. And part of what I did was I studied counter-terrorism. I was in intelligence for a short period of time. And I did a lot of studying on this and that kind of thing. One thing they teach you all the time in this is you don't want to be predictable. If you are predictable, you're an easy target. So you don't want to be predictable. That's number one thing, right? The guy in Parkland, he actually was thinking this through. He knew that if he pulled the fire alarm, people would flood into the hallway and he could shoot them, easy targets. So instead, I want to not be predictable. I don't want to know that there's a guy always there. I don't want that. What I actually want is them to not know who's there, when they're going to show up, if they're going to show up. That's what I want. That will slow someone down. That will scare someone. The people there actually aren't afraid of the consequences. They're afraid of being caught. They're afraid of it not working. That's the issue. So I don't want us necessarily say, here's some guy or gal who'll be sitting in front of a school. If some guy or gal is sitting in front of a school, then that becomes a target. Or that, what happens to the one guy who's not in front of a school? Then they go off to that school. Unpredictability is the key here. I don't want to arm teachers either, because now I'm forcing teachers to be armed. That's worse also. I'd rather say teachers can be armed if they want to be armed. That's fine. Again, that's unpredictable. The key is schools are easy targets. Make them harder targets, less people will shoot there. That's number one. But number two, and as I always talk about, how about happier people, happier kids that don't want to shoot each other? How about having an environment where people don't want to kill each other? That's a whole lot better than any of this. I hope I was clear on that. I love what you're saying to me. I think it's awesome. But I think we should volunteer, but also it should be something to where people don't know that someone is going to be armed or there even. If they don't know, they can't plan. If they can't plan, it can't be effective. I want to break the planning. That's actually basic counterterrorism that anyone who's been in the field would tell you that's the way to go. So I want it to not be predictable. Did I cover what you talked about, Timmy?
Yeah, you nailed it, Larry. Listen, man, good luck to you, and I wish you all the best, brother.
Thank you. Have a good night. Good. I have another call. Who is this?
This is Kenneth.
Ken, how are you?
Oh, I am doing very well. How are you?
Good. What's going on? What's your question, my friend?
Well, my question is, what are we going to do about this SAFE Act?
Okay. That's a good question.
And then ultimately, how do we get this state back on track? Because
I got you.
It has gone so far askew. I do believe that we are listing.
Okay, guys, I got it. Two questions is good. That's good. Two questions. I got it. Let me cover both questions. Question number one is SAFE Act. Second question is getting the state on track. Number one, SAFE Act. Look, the reality of it is people are afraid. The assembly is afraid of repealing the SAFE Act, because the second the SAFE Act is repealed, someone's going to do something stupid. And when someone does, the media is going to attack that assembly person and say, see, it's all your fault for repealing the SAFE Act, even though it will have nothing to do with the SAFE Act. It won't matter. It's an easy straw man. They will blame that person. And they know it. That's why they won't repeal it. So they need air cover. So I'm going to do two things. First thing, within the first 90 days of my administration, I'm going to begin pardoning people who are victims of the SAFE Act. People who've been arrested, convicted of SAFE Act violations will begin to be pardoned within the first 90 days. As they're being pardoned, let's say I pardon 100 people, about 1,000 people or so have been victims of the SAFE Act. Say I get the first 100 out. I'm not saying it's the number. I'm giving you an example. I'm not sure exactly who and how. Yes, I will have a team doing it. But once I have those people going out, say 100 go out, one of them is going to do something stupid. One of them is going to rob a liquor store or do something dumb. Of course someone is. And when that person does, the media is going to attack me. Of course they are. But they're going to be attacking me every day anyway. I'm going to be a libertarian governor in New York State. I'm going to be getting hammered every day by left and right. And when they hammer me, I'm going to go, yeah, you're right. This one person did something dumb, but 99 did not. And I still believe, have always believed, and will always believe, this country was built on the idea that I'd rather have a guilty man go free than an innocent one be imprisoned. And I let 99 have their lives back who should have never been in any trouble. But that person who robs a liquor store or whatever they do, they'll be punished for robbing a liquor store, not for having a piece of equipment that the SAFE Act made illegal overnight. For robbing a liquor store, as they should be punished. So that's the first step. But on top of that, I'll be talking about it. And last, I'll stop enforcing it because I don't have the resources to enforce the SAFE Act. And the cops aren't going to fight me because the cops don't want to enforce the SAFE Act. Find me a cop that wants to enforce the SAFE Act. Cops want to get bad guys. They don't want to get people who, oh, you happen to have a piece of equipment that now is labeled illegal. They don't want to do it. Now, prosecutors like it because easy conviction. But cops don't like it. So cops will not fight me at all on this. So once I do that, after the first year of that, now that'll be 2019. In 2020, the assembly will have air cover because I will have taken the heat. When I take the heat, the assembly will then decide that it's okay to repeal when I tell them they need to repeal it, as I'm preaching it for a year. The SAFE Act will be repealed in the year 2020. It will stop being enforced in 2019 and repealed 2020. That is my plan for the SAFE Act. I will cover fixing the state in a second, but I have to go first to a commercial break. So enjoy the commercials. I'll be right back. 877-480-4120. Larry Sharpe on the Governor's House.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Are you stuck in a rut? Negative thoughts, feelings, and conversations got you down? Hi, I'm Noreen Sumter, the Potentiator. Tune in every Tuesday, 9 to 10 Eastern Time, and listen for new ideas on my show, Beyond Potential. Live life your way on talkradio.nyc.
Do you want to connect with?
Are you an entrepreneur or intrapreneur looking to build your following?
Welcome to our show.
Follow Me Friday with Joan
and Priya.
Tune in every Friday at noon Eastern
on talkradio.nyc.
We're your digital connectors. Woo woo!
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
Larry Sharpe back here at the Governor's House, 877-480-4120. If you want to talk, ask me any questions, get mad at me, whatever the case may be, or also put some in the comments. We're taking questions from the comment section a little bit later on. I want to finish up with Ken's question. He asked about the SAFE Act, and then he asked me, how am I going to fix New York State? Well, to get us back on track, the most important part here, Ken, is to actually begin to leave us alone a bit more, right? The problem is we always decide that the answer is taxpayer money coming out of Albany, being decided by some bureaucrat in Albany. That's the problem. That has to go away. The capital city does not know what's right for every other city, town, and farm out in New York State. People often say, but Larry, you're from the city. You're a New York City guy. How are you going to know what happens in Western New York or Central New York or upstate New York? You're right. That's correct. But my goal isn't to decide what's right for you. My goal is to let you decide what is right for yourself. That's the goal. Why would I want to put laws on someone out in Broome County that, who's hanging out in New York City? What? Makes no sense, right? Queens laws should be different than Rochester laws. Of course. Are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Good. Did I answer your question?
You have answered my questions perfectly.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. Have a great night.
But
I also have who is this? Is this Ben? Hello? Are you on my line right now? No. Did I lose you? Okay.
Yes, it is. We spoke last week.
Oh, there it is. How are you, sir?
Pretty good. Yeah, I hear you a little bit. Let me see if I can put you on speaker. Yes.
Are you good now? I think you have your computer on too, don't you? All right. This isn't working very well.
Hold on. Can you hear me?
I hear you perfectly. Answer your question or I got to dump you.
Hello?
All righty. Hopefully you'll call back. If you call in, please turn everything else off if you call in. Otherwise, this is what happens. All right. So I'll take some questions from people who are online. Brian, you have one?
Yes. How would you advocate for the Second Amendment when people act as though it is fundamentally anti-child safety?
Yeah, it's a great question. And the issue is, are we concerned about child safety or are we concerned about firearms? Now, if you're going to say, well, they're the same, they're not the same at all. How do I know that? Because what is one of the biggest killers of children? Guess what kills children more than firearms? Swimming pools. Should I now ban swimming pools? More people die of drowning than school shootings. School shootings don't kill that many kids at all, comparatively, hardly at all. If I care about my children, here's what I want. I want them to grow up in a safe environment. That's what I want. I have children, 2 of them, in school. Am I worried about gun violence? No, I'm worried about violence, period. What I don't want is people wanting to hurt my children. What I don't want is people wanting to murder my children. I don't want that. I don't care if they choose a firearm or a knife or a car. That's not my issue. I care about safety for my kids. So you can care about gun violence all you want. That's wonderful. But I care much more about safety in general. It's actually selfish and silly if you think about it, right? What you're saying then is, I don't mind if you only want gun control. You're saying, I'm not concerned with children killing children. I'm just concerned what weapon they choose when they do it. I'm not there. I am concerned about children killing children. I'm not care about anybody killing anybody. I don't want anybody killing anybody. How about that? Not even just children. I don't want anybody killing anybody. And I don't care what weapon they use. It doesn't matter to me at all. What I care is let's have a less violent society. Let's have people who don't want to kill each other. Now, why does someone want to kill each other? Again, as I mentioned before, and I'll say it again, most of these mass killers have 2 things in common. One thing they do have, one thing they don't have. What do they have? Many of them have some kind of prescription to some type of psychotropic drug, which means, doesn't mean that's really bad, but it means they probably have some type of depression or some sadness or some illness that makes them feel bad. And 2, what they don't have is a girlfriend, because most of them are male and most don't have girlfriends. Some do, but most don't. What does that mean? Is it bad if you don't have a girlfriend? No, but again, that with psychotropic drugs could mean indicative of not having good relationships. If people are unhappy, that's when they decide to do bad things. I don't want people deciding the right answer is going out in a blaze of glory. And more important, if people are unhappy because they feel like they're being punished, very often what they want is retribution. So if people feel like they're being punished, they start having retribution issues. So it becomes punishment, retribution, punishment, retribution. I'll show them, I'll show them. That's what happens. How about we don't have that? So that is my answer. Hope that was clear.
We're going to get back to some small business stuff. Rye asks, do you support the state using taxpayer funds to encourage small businesses? If so, how?
Yeah, it's a great question. And what I've been saying before, and I'll say again, some of my videos say this, I think it's great when there is an influx of cash into a neighborhood, into a district, into a city. I love the idea of an influx of cash. What I don't love is when someone in Albany decides where that cash should go, how it should be spent, and who gets to spend it. That's what I'm against. So to your question, I'm not for taxpayer money being the thing that decides what happens, because once you do that, you are guaranteeing corruption. Because now, once I have the ability to take taxpayer money and put it into Buffalo or into Queens or into Albany, wherever I'm putting it, now someone comes to me and says, oh, Governor Sharpe, you know, I have the best idea. I'm your best friend. Let me give you money. And then we wonder why there's so much corruption. But not just that. Why in the world do I know what's right? Who am I to decide, oh, I know exactly what areas should be pumped up? How about we allow those people who are using the money, those people who are going to debt, right? If I use taxpayer money, there's no real debt. Who cares? There's no debt. I'm just stealing your money and giving it to someone else. I'm choosing where your money goes and there's no debt. But if it has to be borrowed money, it has to be borrowed from a bank or a company or wealthy individuals or whatever the case may be, they are going to look for what's going to work. It is going to by default be consumer driven. If it's consumer driven, the odds are it will work because they will know what the market, what the consumers are asking for, and they will give the consumers what they're asking for. And if it fails, who's on the hook? Not the government, not the taxpayer. So I am against taxpayer money being used to pump up areas. I love the idea of people pumping money into districts. That's awesome. So what should I be as a governor? I should be the marketer in chief. I should be the one saying, have you seen the amazing aspects of Buffalo, of the waterfront? Oh my God, why aren't you there? I should be running a tour so all the bankers can go up and look at it and decide we should put tons of money into this. And I'll say, yes, you should put tons of money into this. Bankers who it is your money and not taxpayer money, absolutely yes. So I'm against that. So I do have another one. I have Andrew on line one. Andrew, how are you?
Hey, how's it going, man? Thanks for having me on again.
Of course. What's going on?
So I have a very interesting thing for you today.
Okay.
So I have 6 subjects, and I want your libertarian or maybe just your perspective on these 6 subjects.
Aren't they the
subjects
same?
Go from very simple to more us versus them politics.
Okay.
So it's going to be like a speed round, right?
Oh, maybe I'll answer, maybe not. Go ahead.
Okay, so first subject is speed limits.
You want me to answer speed limits?
Take on speed limits.
Speed limits are, look, speed limits in New York State were originally made, the idea was for saving gas. If you remember that back, it was the 70s when they first came out. I think it was the 70s, right? Was for saving gas. 55 miles an hour, save energy because OPEC and the Arabs have all the oil and we have none and the world's going to end. Okay, that's what they were first made for. But the problem is most of our interstates were made for cars to drive around 65, 75, even 85 miles per hour. Most of the interstate highways were made for that. They were designed for higher speed limits. So the idea of 55 miles an hour was made actually for saving gas. Now we don't care about that anymore. Now it's safety, right? So safety. But I'm not sure that's true either. The issue here is I see we still have tons of people dying on our roads. So I think speed limits should be made, speed limits should be set not based upon what the government thinks, but based upon what the interstates and what the roads were built for. That's what I would say the speed limit should be. And in many cases, that's going to be 75 or 65 miles per hour.
Ready for the next one?
Go ahead.
Progressive taxes, taxing the rich more than for the poor's benefits.
If you really want to get more taxation, if you want to get more money out of the rich, if that's actually your goal, then simplified tax is what matters more than anything else. The more detailed the tax code is, the more they're able to get around the tax code. So if your goal, if you're like, I want to beat rich people up, if that's your goal, then it should be a simple tax. And that's what matters. You don't have to raise the rates at all. It could be the same 10% tax, 8% tax, 15% tax, 80% tax, whatever is your number. But if you actually want money out of the rich, then the answer is simplified tax. And I'm always about simplified tax no matter what. Simplified tax is a fair tax. Anything else is not actually a fair tax. I know a lot of companies pay very low taxes. A lot of individuals who are very wealthy pay 6, 7%. They actually pay less as a percentage than the average person of the middle class. So if people really want more money out of the rich, simplified is the answer.
All right. I've even heard a tax thing where
I thought it was a speed round.
We work more
speed round.
Hours. Speed round. All right. Here's a good one that you don't hear very often: prostitution.
Yeah. What two consenting adults do is up to them. I should have no right to get in between those two. Now, the issue is they say prostitution is bad for women and everything. Of course it is. But if we look at illegal prostitution versus legal prostitution, the data is in on this. Nevada has legalized prostitution. Legalized prostitution is far better for women who are going to engage in prostitution than illegal. The way that the vast majority of women get out of illegal prostitution is death and or prison, which often winds up being death. That's not the right answer. Pimps, things of that sort all happen in legal prostitution. With legal prostitution, women actually leave the field better than when they came in. Again, I didn't make that up. Do your own homework. Legalized prostitution is better for women. I can't stop women from deciding what to do with their body. I can't stop women from doing what I might think is self-destructive behavior. I can't stop that. Can I make it safer for those who choose to do that? Yes, I can. So why wouldn't I want it to be legal so it can be safer? Because I actually care about women, and I'd like those who choose to go into that field to have the option of getting out better off and making a better life for themselves. I'd like them to have a second chance. So prostitution legalized is the answer.
Next subject is immigration, illegal immigration versus legal immigration topics.
Love legal immigration as much as possible. Liberal is good. I like lots of liberal immigration. Legal immigration is a problem only because we have labor issues and because we have federal issues that allow people to come here and to get lots of money from the federal government. DACA actually is a good idea because DACA actually says people can't get federal funds when other illegal immigrants actually get federal funds because the federal government forces them. So I'm happy with legal immigration. I think we have lots of it. Legal immigration has to be fixed, but it has to be fixed at the federal level.
The next subject is healthcare. Insurance and service provided. It's thought of that the poor is not so suited better compared to the rich.
All right. You're lucky I'm giving you this last one. Is this 6 already? Are we at 6?
We're at 5, but the 6th one you can skip if you want. If you don't think it's good enough, you can skip.
Wait, what's the 6th one? Can we hear the 6th one too, so we can decide which one we want to answer?
What is it?
What's the 6th one? Tell me now.
Abortion.
All right. Let me deal with both of these two. All right. First one, healthcare. Healthcare insurance is terrible. We are doing health. Obamacare is healthcare insurance reform. What we need is healthcare reform, not healthcare insurance reform. Healthcare needs to be transparent. The first thing to do is to create transparency in healthcare. This is not I mean, I can spend an hour just on healthcare. So the issue here is, the short-term issue is transparency in healthcare, and healthcare insurance will fix itself. Now, that's a big detailed piece. You asked me for quick, so that was my quick answer. I can spend more time on it later. Abortion. I am the only person running in New York State who is anti-abortion and still pro-choice. What does that mean? I do not want women to get abortions. However, it is never my place or the government's place to put their hand on a woman's body or a hand on a woman's uterus. So I will be a governor who will say, I will try to make it as easy as possible for women to choose not to have an abortion. And that's what libertarian model should be. It is, I want to make it easier to have adoption, easier for women to get contraception. I want contraception to be not have to require a prescription. You should get it over the counter, or at least a prescription with the pharmacist. And certain countries and counties already do this already, and we should do that. Not just that. Adoption. I'm an adopted kid myself. I was adopted. Adoption should be so simplified, it's not even funny. You should be able to adopt kids very easily, and I don't care if it sounds bad, it's slavery, whatever people say it is. It's terrible. We must do our best to make adoption easier. So that is my platform. Thank you so much for Top 6. I got to go to a break. It's Larry Sharpe, the Governor's House. Go to LarrySharpe.com. Support me if you like this. Be back after the break.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Are you into comics, movies, and pop culture at large? What about music and TV? Then you're in for a treat. This is Michael Dolce, your host on TalkingAlternative.com. I've been professionally writing comic books, screenplays, and music articles for almost 15 years. Catch my show, Secrets of the Sire, at its new primetime slot, Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and get the inside scoop on the pop culture universe you love to talk about. For more info, go to secretsofthesire.com.
Hello, this is Bruce Chamoff, host of the Web Design and Technology Coach. Join me and my guests every Tuesday from 8 to 9 p.m. as we discuss the latest in web design, social media marketing, search engine optimization, and technology. We also discuss popular topics, including WordPress, making money online, better Google rankings, and more. Every month, we also feature the best unsigned music from around the world, right here on talkradio.nyc.
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
Larry Sharpe, the Governor's House, 877-480-4120. Go to LarrySharpe.com. That's Larry Sharpe with an E. E stands for electable. So, yes, LarrySharpe.com. If you want to support, please donate. Look, this costs money. This costs time. I'm bleeding financially to do this. I need some help. You guys have to help bleed with me. I need you to support me. $50, $100, $1 million. No, only 44,000 is my max. If you want to go 45,000, you can't. You've got to go 44,000. So if someone actually wants to do that, I'm happy to have that happen. That would be great. All right, let me grab a couple more. By the way, the last 6 questions, I know were some tough questions, but as I've said more than once, no questions off limits. I will answer any question. Some of you won't like my answers. I'm not going to change because you don't like my answers. I hope I'm good enough for you. I've crossed your good threshold. If you agree with me 80% of the time, you should be voting for me in November so I can become governor of New York. All right, I'm going to take Chris on line 2. How are you, Chris? I can hardly hear you. Can you speak louder?
Yeah, is this better?
There we go. Perfect. What's going on?
Nothing. I appreciate you taking my call. I'm a nursing home administrator up in Hudson.
Okay.
I have been for about 10 years. I'm also a medicinal marijuana user and advocate.
Okay.
So, you know, it would make sense, especially with the opioid crisis we have, to get nursing home residents on the medicinal marijuana program.
Yeah.
At least in my opinion. So, but with the Department of Health being as it is, I've been advocating for about 9 months to try to get approval to do so. And pretty much they've told me at this point, well, we can't tell you not to.
Yeah,
so
this
I was
is
wondering what you'd be able to do to help expand on that program and get these people who are either suffering in pain or suffering on opioids.
Yes, without question, marijuana is a huge problem in New York State because we've decided that the data isn't in. We should have a committee or whatever the governor has said. His Majesty has decided that that is a plant that he doesn't want, and he is 100% completely wrong. I will go even further than just medicinal marijuana. Marijuana and cannabis and hemp products should be grown in any way that New York State farmers want to grow them. Farmers are already suffering in the state. Why wouldn't we let them grow whatever they think will make the most money for them to grow? Let them grow marijuana and or hemp in any way they want, any shape or form. They should grow cannabis or hemp. Let's regulate like onions. That's it. No difference in regulation whatsoever. If you want to grow, you should be able to grow. We've already lost a bunch of that's time and money and energy to Colorado and Washington and California. No more. Let's do that. That's the first step. The second step is once marijuana and or hemp is grown in the farm, as it would any other crop, when it gets into the market, make it like, I don't know, let's make it like alcohol. That's fine. I'll take that. Whatever. Just sell it. Who cares? You can use recreational alcohol. Why can't you use recreational cannabis? Why not? Not just that. Let's let doctors prescribe it too if they think that's the appropriate answer. I don't have a problem with it whatsoever. In fact, your point is right on the money. Number one, if people were able to choose cannabis products, some people would not choose opioids, and we would have less addiction, less meth problems, less overdoses. Without question, that's factual. The data's already in. The countries who've been doing it, Portugal, Switzerland does it too, Colorado, you can see it. It's already happening. So absolutely 100%. And as governor, the first thing I'll do is, again, not enforce it. Not enforce it. It's not enforceable. I won't enforce it. I will tell DAs to stop. I will tell cops to stop putting people in jail because they have a plant in their pocket. And on top of it, people who use it who've already been convicted, if it's a non-violent marijuana or cannabis conviction, I'm going to begin pardoning within the first 90 days. I'm going to let people know this is stupid. This is a wrong answer. It is hurtful. It is literally hurting people to not have medical and recreational marijuana available to New York citizens who want it. And to be clear, I'm the square of all squares. I don't even drink, right? I don't do any drugs. I'm sorry, that's not true. I have one drug I do use, caffeine. That's it. I drink coffee. That's as far as I go. So even when it becomes legal, I'm not going to use it. It's not my thing. But it doesn't mean that you shouldn't. It doesn't mean that someone else shouldn't. There is no difference. I hope that answered your question.
Perfect.
Thank you. All right. I'm now going to grab Gus. Gus, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, future Governor Sharpe?
Oh, I like you. You got to call more often. I love it. What's going on?
I was wondering, what is your view on grandparents' rights when it comes to social services?
Ah, great. I mean, this drives me crazy the way family law is. What family law has done under the auspices of protecting children is shameful. Family law, particularly in New York State, but this is all over the country, very often they will purposely not give children to family members. They will purposely give children, put them in the foster care system. And the concept is, you know, if I give it to grandma or grandpa, then maybe they might give it to the bad mother or bad father or whatever the case may be. Well, there are two huge problems with this. The first one is where you're talking about, but a little bit off, and that is in family court, if you lie, there's no punishment. Yes, if you lie in family court, it's not a felony. It's not perjury. It's okay. So do you think that every horrible thing told by one side to another is true? No. I wouldn't doubt if the vast majority of things being told in family court are blatant lies. Why wouldn't they be? I'm mad at my husband or wife who cheated on me, so now I'm going to say he beat me or she cheated on me or he cheated on me, or whatever the case may be. My spouse is evil and they smoke weed and they inject heroin and they beat my son or daughter. Of course they're going to say that stuff. It's horrible. So that first thing makes it even worse. So now judges hear that and go, oh, I can't do that. Let me give it to someone else. But not just that. I would always rather have a child in the hands of family than in the hands of foster care or any place else every single time, no matter what. I'm always going to err. Now you're going to say, but Larry, what if this bad thing does happen? Bad things will happen, no question. I can't stop that. What I can do is give that child the best chance of success. And statistically, a child is less safe in foster care than with family. That is a fact. Do your homework and make that up. They are safer with their family than they are with foster care. That doesn't mean family's perfect. And sometimes kids are going to get beat up in family. I get it. It does happen. I can't stop that. All I can do is put that kid in the best chance for success. And family is always going to put the odds in that kid's favor no matter what. So grandparent rights are very valuable, very important. And the number one thing we have to talk about is what is the best chance for that kid to be with their family and have the best chance of a loving environment to be raised in. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, and thank you so much, Governor Sharpe.
Outstanding. Thank you. All right. Do you like what I'm saying? Do you want your candidates to be acting the same way I am and to be answering questions and to be in front of you? Great. Support me then. Spread the word. Let people know this is happening. Share this. Talk about it. Let people know. And on top of that, go to LarrySharpe.com. Donate. $10, $5, $100. Don't go more than $44,000. That's illegal. As long as you're less than that, you'll be fine. I know some of you want to give 45. You may not. 44 or less. Whatever you can give, go ahead and give. And I'll be right back after this break.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
Are you feeling unhappy with your body, shape, or size? Ever feel out of control with food? I'm Elizabeth from Nourish the Soul, and on this show, you will uncover the root to these imbalances and discover a permanent solution to having a healthy relationship to food and your body. Join us every Thursday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on talkradio.nyc.
TalkingAlternative.com.
It's Larry Sharpe back here at the Governor's House, 877-480-4120. To support me, go to LarrySharpe.com and donate. I need as much of your money as possible. I've given a bunch of mine already. I've given 5 figures of my own money in this campaign. It's killing me. You bleed with me. LarrySharpe.com. Grab a couple questions from you people who've been posting stuff. Go ahead, Brian.
Joshua, who has 6 vape shops in New York State, but isn't building many more here because of upcoming taxes, asks, what's your position on the growing e-cigarette industry?
Yes, this is a very important thing. I support the vape industry 100% for many reasons. The first one, it's wrong to just decide to license or to regulate an industry out of existence. And that's what New York State's trying to do. They're trying to license and or regulate the vaping industry out of existence. And it's because of two reasons. One, they can, but two, they don't know any better. They actually think that vaping is smoking. For those of you who vape, you know, it's not. Vaping is basically the same as a fog machine. That's basically what it is. And so people don't get that. So they're deciding that they can just decide to crush it and destroy it because it's like cigarettes. It's not. The worst part about this is the vaping industry actually helps people to get better. There are people who use it to stop smoking. There are people who use it to actually stop their drug addictions because of the habitual issue of putting something in their mouth as like a cigarette. People use it for all kinds of different reasons. It's nothing but good. It doesn't hurt. On top of that, there's a community around vaping, which means people literally go to vape shops and talk and help each other. And when you do that, community is what helps people break addictions. So it helps with that also. And even more important, it's a local industry in retail where people actually show up and buy stuff on Main Street. Why would I want to break up Main Street? And on top of that, there are people in the vape industry who actually build their actual product here in New York State. It does still happen right now. But right now, because of the fear, we are worried if we can grow this industry. Here's what I promise all you vapors. If I'm elected governor, feel free to grow. I will not bother you at all. Feel free to grow. Grow, grow, grow. I will not bother you at all. Please build more stores. Please build. I won't. In fact, all the licensing will go away because you are not smoking. You are not a vice. Therefore, you shouldn't be licensed at all. Why bother? You're no difference between you and a McDonald's. I don't care. Same thing. Please grow. I want you to grow in our state. All right. Good. Thank you.
McDonald's might be more dangerous.
You know, I'm sorry. I just insulted you, vapors, by calling you McDonald's. I apologize. How about a grocery store? Is that better? I'm sorry. I shouldn't have insulted you. I apologize.
So Matt asks about 5 questions about how you're getting yourself out there besides social media. Clearly, he hasn't seen our events page.
Yeah, go to my events page, man. You guys don't realize this. When I go to events now, and you know, I've been running this campaign for a good 5 or 6 months by now. I don't even remember how long it's been. It's been a long time. And as I've been running this campaign, when I first started doing events, you know, one person would show up, literally one person. Now, everywhere I go, at least 25 people show up, minimum. Always, no matter what. People are showing up all the time. The last event I did in Corning, 4 different media outlets showed up. 3 different video teams showed up to where I was. So it's already happening. You're just not paying attention. Pay attention. It's already happening. And spread it. Help out. Good.
So I don't know who asked it because I haven't gotten to it yet. But are you excited about Cynthia Nixon being in the race?
Yes. Cynthia Nixon. I usually just say the Sex and the City actor. She's amazing. I'm so happy she's in the race. I cannot tell you how glorious. I wish I had planned it myself. It is so good. She is just going to show all the people who are Democrats how bad Cuomo is, far better than I will, because they'll listen to her. They may not listen to me. So I am so happy she's in. She's going to show the Democrats how bad King Andrew is, and it's amazing. I'm so happy she's in. Thank you. Thank you, Sex and the City actress. Thank you.
I'm really hoping for that Bernie effect where she gets a lot of those people excited and then loses in the primary. And then
they might have to come to me. Oh, look at that.
And they actually vote.
That would be great. So, yes, totally happy that she's in. Thank you.
Shane asks, how do we decrease property taxes?
Yes, it's another hard one. And here's the issue. The odds of me being able to decrease property taxes in the first year are slim. I know that's hard. But what I can do is simply say no raising whatsoever. No, we will not raise property taxes at all. I know we have the 2% cap or whatever, which every county seems to somehow get around anyway. But I don't want to raise them at all up front. What I want to do first is lower spending. And I know this may sound crazy, but if I just lower taxes, someone else is going to pay anyway. I lower property tax, I'm going to get you on a gas tax. I lower gas tax, I'm going to get you on a payroll tax. I actually want to lower spending. We have about a $170 billion budget in New York State, and Florida has more people than us, and they have half the budget. People tell me the same thing every time. Yes, but you know, New Yorkers have an expectation of services. Well, then why are we all running to Florida? We're losing 100,000 New Yorkers every single year, give or take, and many of them are going to Florida. So it isn't that. So the first thing is to cut spending. How to do that? It's by getting rid of all the unfunded mandates at the county level. We have so many mandates at the county level. I need to get rid of those immediately. If I get rid of unfunded mandates, the counties will have more flexibility on what they spend money on. People will not have to vote on everything they want, which means more people involved in government. They will see the budgets. They will see what's happening. They'll begin to turn their counties around. So once it happens, spending will come down. On top of that, I need to have real revenue raisers. When King Andrew says revenue raisers, His Majesty means more taxation. I don't. I mean finding ways to raise money. Things like, as you've heard me say before, things like naming rights on bridges, things like controlling the local roads and the local tunnels, also with naming rights, things like that. You know, doing things like that where now businesses want to come back in, getting people to stay in New York. We do that instead of lowering property taxes, which counties could do if they wanted to once the spending goes down. More importantly, I could get rid of the state income tax. Getting rid of the state income tax gives every New Yorker a raise off the bat. If you're working, raise off the bat. We do that, they all have a raise, anywhere from 4 to 8%, depending on how much money you're making, immediately. You do that, oh my God. Now people want to stay in New York, more bodies come back to New York, and we then raise revenue without raising taxes. More bodies means more revenue. I hope that was a good answer.
Franz asks, what are your thoughts on stand your ground laws?
Yes, thank you for bringing that up. Someone actually asked me that before. The stand your ground laws. The issue here in New York right now is New York State has what's called, if I remember right, it's called castle laws, which means if someone is in your home and you kill them, that's fine. They're in your home. Not on your property, but in your home. And that's where it is now. I have a worry about stand your ground laws because stand your ground laws make it very easy for someone to use those laws to hurt people. And we've seen it happen too many times. What I want to deal with instead is the self-defense laws that we have in New York State. Right now in New York State, self-defense, if you use a self-defense defense, you have to prove it was self-defense. That means you're guilty until proven innocent. That I want to change. What I want to change when it comes to stand your ground laws is I want to change it from, if I say it's self-defense, the prosecutor has to prove it wasn't. If we make that shift along with council laws, I think that's good enough to deal with the stand your ground laws. The reason why stand your ground laws seem valuable in New York State is because we have the idea that you're guilty until proven innocent in New York State. If we change that to make you innocent until proven guilty, we make it innocent until proven guilty. If we actually do that, I don't think we need stand your ground laws. Council laws plus that are enough.
Nick wants to know your thoughts on metals, gold and silver, and cryptocurrencies and ICOs.
Crypto and metal?
Yeah, all the things that aren't dollar bills.
Oh, metals, not medals. Thank you. I'm like,
not the thing you wear on your jacket.
I'm like, okay, really? The Olympics? All right, now, yes. I'll go back to what I always say. Cryptocurrency in New York, we're losing that also. We've lost it because of our silly bit licenses, right? The idea that you have to have a special license to trade in cryptocurrency is silly. They should feel like anything else. It's silly. We need to get rid of bit licensing off the bat. I want to support cryptocurrencies in general for two reasons. Number one, a good industry for New York. Why don't we have that? Let's grow the industries, and more importantly, on top of that, the actual technology behind it. Oh my God, how awesome is the technology behind it, right? What's the mining called behind cryptocurrency? Blockchain. Thank you. Blockchain. Blockchain is amazing. I mean, why aren't we supporting blockchain? There's so many great reasons to use it, so many ways we could use it. So we absolutely should support them. But now, not just that, but also just an ideological level. People should be able to trade in whatever they value. It doesn't matter what you trade in. Trade in dollars, trade in yen, trade in gold. I don't care what you trade in. Trade in what you find valuable. I mean, don't we trade, things like, I don't know, baseball cards and stuff like that, comic books? Do people still do baseball cards now? I don't know. I guess so. But whatever they do, right? Baseball cards, that's what you value. If you don't trade your, I'm old, Reggie Jackson for your, I don't know, Dwight Gooden. Well, I'm old. Anyway, if you want to make that trade, why do I care? If you guys value those two cards, then you value them, whether that's gold or silver or baseball cards or cryptocurrency. It shouldn't matter. So ideologically, be free to trade what you want. And then logically, blockchain is awesome. Cryptocurrency is a great industry. We should be supporting it. I hope that answered your question.
I have a mint condition Reggie Jackson Clark Bar card.
Is that true?
Yeah.
I remember when Reggie Jackson actually had the Reggie Bar, the candy bar, and I ate it and I liked it because it was the Reggie Bar. I didn't care. It could taste like garbage. I'd eat it anyway. It's like, it's Reggie. I love it.
Reggie's the man.
That's it. I loved it. Anyway, so, all right, if you guys want to support me, if you like what you're hearing, if you think it's valuable, LarrySharpe.com. E stands for electable. You want me to be elected? You want me to be able to push this message out? You want me to be able to debate the people that you want me to debate? Do you want to see this happen? Support me. $10, $5, $1 million, whatever it might be. Hold on. I just saw What is Aleppo pop up, and I'm not going to let you slide. I was ready to end this show, but no, I am not. You What is Aleppo people, let me tell you what Aleppo is. It is an excuse that people use to give us Donald Trump. That's what it is. It is an excuse used to not support someone who so would have been a better president. Do you know how much I wish Gary Johnson was president right now? Oh, my God, I wish he was president right now. Aleppo and everything. I wish he was. And here's my problem with that. Gary Johnson was a good man and still is a good man. If he was president now, every issue that you didn't like about him is repaired by a couple of good advisors, people who knew Aleppo and knew repaired. Smart. He's a good man. It's repaired. But Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump, those people have character flaws, and they were what you decided to vote for instead of Gary Johnson. Shame on you. Aleppo is an excuse that silly people used to give us crappy people to vote for. That's what it was. Aleppo was nothing but an excuse. That's what Aleppo was. Anyway, I just couldn't let that one go. Sorry. I'm just never going to let people diss Gary Johnson. I still love the man. I wish he was president now. All right. Governor's House, Larry Sharpe, LarrySharpe.com. I will see you all next week.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.